Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am so excited to be coming to you today with another show for your Friday. This is going to be a fun one. Who knows what we're going to get into today? Welcome to the jungle. If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, then you know we kind of do some of these solo shows, and it's like, who knows what we're going to get into? We just see where life takes us, and that is just the life that we live. And I'll be totally honest with you guys. I am about to run out of gas in my tank. So real life, real update. We have 7 days left of 75 hard. We're currently, as you listen to this, if you're listening live when we release on Friday, currently finishing up our largest landscape job to date. And it has been an absolute drainer. So I'll walk through quickly what we're doing right now. So we have a full total layout, design, whatever you want to call it, of this yard. This home has been built for, it's a 20-year-old home, 25 years. And they've never really had good grass because they've had a bunch of trees, and it's always been spotty, kind of woody and things, and they had some little patchy Bermuda, but that's the best they ever had. And so they were tired of that. They had trees cut down this just like a couple months ago, and they were ready to get some grass in here, have a good yard to be able to enjoy for themselves. And so we have gone in and scraped up all the old Bermuda from all around the yard. The back was pretty mossy, and like I said, because it was trees, wooded, things like that, just a bunch of weeds and moss and crap. So we scraped all that out, went down, took a solid 3 inches off, 3 to 4 inches of the top layer, and we've just been working. And so it's been a process for sure. This has been a learning curve for me because, like I said, biggest job to date, biggest job doing it on my own, this much sod, this much grading. I've never done this much dirt work on my own, and so that's also something else that I'm learning. It's crazy how comfortable you get with something, even if you've never done it before, just with a little bit of time and energy and effort. And so we are putting the new mini skid to work. It has been an absolute workhorse up to this point. We already put about 10 hours on it. We'll put another 5 to 7 today, and wrap this job up with probably about 16 hours, 17 hours on the machine. All from this job. And so it's been awesome so far. Huge asset. There's no chance on the planet that we could do it without this machine. So super excited to have this in the fleet and have just kind of have this in our inventory now. And we have opened up our doors to so much more possibility with the kind of jobs we take on and things like that. And so it's been a challenge, but it's been good so far. It's been good. But anyway, we did all that. We scraped everything up, we graded, and so we are on sod right now, and we've got about 18 to 20 pallets going in. Don't know exactly how much we're going to end up having to have, just because I couldn't get exact measurements before we started. Had to use some close to exact, but they were still a little rough numbers, just because the way that the yard fell, the way that we were extending some areas, taking away from some areas, from some existing yard, and so that's just been a whole deal. But anyway, we got about 14, 15 pallets left, and a lot of pine straw to spread, bushes to plant. So we're also planting. We got a few beds. Luckily, their main landscape in front of the house is in good shape, where they're keeping that the way that it is. But we've got a few different beds in the front that we're going in and adding to, taking away from, kind of redesigning and putting our own twist on. And then there's a couple beds in the back that we're actually making new beds. And so it's cool. It's cool seeing this go from absolutely nothing to something that's going to be really, really pretty. We've already gotten some great pictures, progress pictures along the way. But this job is definitely one that is challenging me and teaching me, and I'm learning. And I wanted to share with you some insight into just some of the things that I've learned in this process, doing a job this size, and some things that I think that you can learn if you haven't done something like this. What are some things that I would definitely approach differently in the future, and just some areas to, I think, help things go a little smoother. So let's go back to the planning process. The planning process of the estimating, the getting pictures, getting measurements, getting all that stuff figured out. That is something that on a job this size, so like I said, back to the sod thing, I don't exactly know if I'm going to have enough. I think my measurements are right. I think that I'm good, but we're just going to have to see. And that's going to be, we're going to see that as we go. I can't even talk about it yet. And also, y'all are listening to this as close to live as possible for the most part. Just a few hours before this thing releases, I'm recording it on Thursday night, and I'm doing my second 75 hard workout outdoor for the day. And so, I know that's become a common occurrence, but we like to multitask around here. And so that's what we're doing, because when I started the show, well, we'll come back to that in a minute. But anyway, so back to the estimating process. So I think the sod is good. I think I'm going to be all right on that. But it was a learning curve for me. It was a challenge that I've never done before. I've never had to actually estimate this big of a property. And so getting the right tools, the right equipment to help you when you do something like this is a game changer. And so I will tell you that get a good measuring wheel or get some type of electronic measuring device that can assist in this for you. Do not sit out there and try to do this with a measuring tape or whatever. I hopefully anybody listening to this show is past that point of trying to use a measuring tape, but spend the money, get a good measuring wheel, spend $50-$60, get a good measuring wheel. There's actually a thing called a Mosier, and a little free plug for them. It's an electronic measuring device that we used on this, and I've used it on a couple different things. It's just on like a monopod, and it Bluetooth, and you take that thing and you can measure pretty much anything, any direction, elevation changes. It's a really cool device. So might look into getting something like that for something this size, but try your absolute best to get some decent equipment, some technology to help you get this stuff figured out, because if I'm just off a pallet or two, you're talking hundreds that I am going to be losing out on. So we'll just say if I'm 2 pallets off, that's going to cost me, for $560 just in sod costs. The pallets are $280 a piece. So if I'm off 2 pallets, that's $560 just in sod costs, plus the time to go to the farm and get it from the farm, and then come back. And so that's the sod farm's about it's about 45 minutes from me. So you're looking at 2.5 hours by the time you're there, loaded, back, unloaded. 2.5 hours plus $560 that I'm out. So you're looking at $800 to $1,000 that I'm missing out on just because I'm off 2 pallets. And so you say, well, if you're off 2 pallets, you're way off. Yeah, I agree. You're way off, but it happens, and it happens. It's just part of it. You don't always get everything right the first time, and so you have to learn along the way. And I'm just telling you, hopefully, if you're doing this for the first time, these are some tips that'll help you and get this stuff figured out. So get some type of electronic or just a good quality measuring device to make sure you get this stuff figured out. Take extremely good pictures, so many pictures you don't even know what to do with them. You cannot have too many. Get them of every angle, of every part of the yard you're going to be doing work in. It's one of those things that I've looked back at my phone a million times and I've been like, I don't have a picture of this part of the yard. Why did I do that? Take pictures of every angle of every part of the yard that you could possibly do work in. Also, you might want to take a walk around video. Take a walk around video of your job site. And because in that you can go through, freeze your video, freeze frame, take a picture, a screenshot of that, and you can have the documentation that way. So take videos, take pictures in depth, take a lot of them. Make sure that you have all those on hand so you can reference those. Also, another thing that I will say is document anything that is broken before you start the job. So ideally, you want to do this in the estimating process. If you don't do it in the estimating process, make sure you're doing it before you start groundwork on the job. So walk around, look at things. If there's a water meter that's been broken, or there's a big crack in the concrete, or a chip in the concrete of the sidewalk, or there's something on the foundation that's messed up, a crack in the brick, or something like that. Like, look for these things. It goes back to documentation. Look for these things, document them, make sure you have those things in there. And I know that this is a free plug again, no sponsorship or anything. I'm just talking because I know other people that use this stuff. Company Cam, the Company Cam app is a great app to do that with. You can document all that stuff. Your crew members can get in there and look at it and see what needs to be done, work areas, things like that. So maybe something to look into to do something like that. But document. You cannot have too much documentation. That way, so when something gets broken along the way, or the customer thinks you broke something, you can come back and it's time stamped, the date's on there. And you can say, no, I took this picture on this date, on this time, before we even showed up with a piece of equipment on the property, and this was already like this. So make sure and do that. Take time. And these are the little things that you don't want to do. That's why I say, like, it sounds monotonous. It sounds like it's very easy to overlook, because it is easy to overlook, because no one wants to spend 30 minutes to an hour doing this stuff. Like, that's... If your time is worth $100 an hour, that's $100 that you're spending doing this. So also make sure and factor that into your estimate. Like, make sure you're getting paid for these little logistical challenges and little logistical tasks. And maybe it's not a challenge, but it's just a task. It's just part of the process. And so make sure that you're getting compensated for that. If you're spending time documenting things, then you add that time and labor into your job cost and what your profit has to be, and you put that in the final estimate, and you go with it. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. But if you make it, then you're gonna make money and be profitable. So do that as best you can, as quickly as you can. Like I said, document as much as possible. You cannot have too much documentation. And so we did all right at that. Like I said, I still wish there were more pictures of the job from the beginning that I had. But we have done a decent amount of that. So we have good stuff. We're progressing well. This is all just real life stuff. It's nothing groundbreaking. If you can see, I'm running on empty. This 7.5 hard. This just the job progressions, the business progression right now is very, very taxing. This isn't a poor, pitiful me plea for help. It's just being real and honest. And I've always been open on the show, talking about just like what our life is, what's going on. Tonight it's tough. It is tough to get these workouts in. It's tough to get my reading done. Have estimates that still have to go out. Like, it's just tough. But if I've learned anything over the past 7 days, whatever the math is, 68 days, it is that you can do anything you set your mind to. I set my mind, we'll take this job for example, that I set my mind that when I went out and bid this job, I didn't think I could really do it. Like I said, it was one that I'd never done before. I didn't think I could actually do this and make it look good. But I decided in my mind, we're going to put a bid in. We're going to be competitive. We're going to spend the time to price this thing the right way. We're going to be profitable, but we're going to learn, and we're going to close this job. And so we've done that, and it's been so cool and rewarding to see that we're at this point now. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, 3 months ago, that I think I could do a job like this, I would look at you and laugh and say, no way. And so this 75 hard mindset that I've turned into is like literally anything that you set your mind to, you can do it. And if you want to be a millionaire by age 30, then you decide you want to do that, and then you put steps in place to do it. And it's all about like putting building blocks in place, putting steps in place to move forward in life. And it may not be money. It may be building your business. It may be adding equipment to your business. It may be adding a real estate portfolio to your life. It may be you and your spouse getting on the same page and having a healthier marriage. Like, I don't know what that is for you, but I do know this, that if you take the time, if you dedicate yourself, if you make sure that you want to be the best you possible, and you set your mind to things, you can do it. You can change your life within a matter of days. And when I say a matter of days, I mean, perfect example, within 75. Like, you can do it within 30 days. This mindset shift takes place within 30 to 50 days of this program. I'm 100% believer in that. Of like, once you get the habit down, those first couple of weeks, then you start rocking and rolling, and your life can just change for the better so much. But it's not easy. Nothing in life comes easy, and you have to realize that. This is not easy. Like, sitting here walking at midnight recording a podcast is not easy. But what is it doing for me? It's making me mentally tough. It's making me do things that I want to see different results, right? I want to see the podcast grow. I want to see the listenership grow. I want to see us help more people. I want more people's businesses to grow. I want my physical shape to change. I want my mental state to change. Well, these are the steps that I have to do to be able to see those things come to fruition. And so, what are your steps in your business and in your life? What steps do you have to take? What are they? Like, sit back and ask yourself that question. How can I be a better me? It's not what anybody can do better than you. It's not about anybody else. There's nobody else in life that is more important than you. You are your biggest competition. You are your biggest setback. Like, it's not your spouse. It's not your kids. It's not your parents. It's you. If you decide to change your life, and you decide that in 5 years you want to have a profitable business, in 2 years you want to have a profitable business, let me tell you this, in 6 months you want to have a profitable business. If you decide that, then you can do it. You can do it. But you have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to put the right systems and processes in place. You have to do the tough things. You have to stay up until 2 a.m. and send out the estimates. You have to stay up until 2 a.m. and you have to look at your books. You have to decide, are my cost of goods sold too high? Is my material too high? Is my labor too high? What's going on in my business? Why am I losing money? Maybe not losing money total, but like, why am I not making the profit that I want to see? Those are all things that have to go into place. And you have to figure that out yourself. No one else can do it for you. Well, I guess you can delegate it out. You can hire a coach or a bookkeeper or something to do some of that stuff. But it comes down to you making the decision to make that change. When you do that, then you hire people, you put people in place around you, and you'll see these changes. So, quick little rant there in the middle of the show that you literally, like, you're your only competition. You're your biggest setback. You can change your life, your future, your business, just off making these little decisions. So, back to this job and some things that I've learned is customer expectations on the job this size. I didn't know because I've never done one. And this is one that I think this could be one of the most important points of the show is I didn't know how important this was because, like I said, I never done it, so I didn't know how to set a customer expectation. When we cut grass, Customer expectation is we don't leave crap on the driveways. We blow the sidewalks off. We blow the air conditioner units. Anything with a hard surface gets blown off. We don't leave stuff sticking up. Clippings don't get left in the yard. Like that is customer expectation. We've got that down to a science. We're really good at it. We're rocking and rolling, and life is good as far as that goes. You get into the world of landscaping, that is a totally different story. Excuse me, I had to get a sip of water there. But it's a totally different story. And so especially when you get into landscaping, where you're doing jobs that are going to take you longer than a day. I had this job budgeted for 2 days with 4 guys. So I think I had somewhere around, that would have been 30 man hours a day if we would work 8 hours a day. So we would have been right at 60-something man hours, 64 man hours. I think if that would have been right, 4 guys, 8 hours a day is 32 hours times 2. Yeah, so 64 man hours. Well, just the way schedule is falling. This job was supposed to be done last week before the 4th of July, but it was 100 plus in Alabama. Actually, the temperature was 100 plus. The days we were supposed to do this. I wasn't about to put out 20 pallets of sod. Zoysia sod at that. I wasn't about to put out 20 pallets in 100-degree weather. They don't have an in-the-ground irrigation system. Now, they're very responsible customers. He is going to water. I'm 100% certain of that. We've had this conversation. This is one thing I have made sure customer expectation, or I've made sure what he knows what my expectation is for watering, and he knows what he needs to do. So we're in good shape as far as that goes, but it just would have put a lot of added stress. So I didn't want to do the job then, and so we postponed to this week. Started work on Monday out there by myself before the 4th. I wanted to at least get a head start, and I didn't want to wait until I didn't want to wait until Wednesday to start because we were supposed to be starting the Thursday before, so last Thursday. And got out there, started Monday, scraped everything. Got a chunk done. Got a good chunk done on Monday. I worked probably, 6 hours out there by myself, 6 or 7 hours with the machine, just working, taking dirt out, moving dirt around, just doing the deal. And so worked there for about 6 or 7 hours by myself Monday. Took the day off for Tuesday for the 4th. And then yesterday, we got back out there. Me and one guy, yesterday I was by myself again. Wednesday, I was by myself again, and I just was on the machine for the majority of the time, and we're just moving dirt again, bringing dirt in. And so since we took out so much, we had to add in as well. We're looking at, I think right now we're at 18, that's 27, bear with me, I'm doing quick math, 27 plus 5. We're at 37 yards, I'm pretty sure, of dirt that we've brought in. 3 deliveries of 9 yards a piece. And then I've brought 2 dump trailer loads of 5 yards a piece to the job. So that's where we're at with dirt. So worked up there yesterday all myself. Same thing. I put a few plants in the ground. I probably planted like 10 or 12 plants yesterday. Worked up there with the dirt. Got that going. Thursday, today, sod was finally getting there. Sod got rained out yesterday. It was supposed to be there yesterday, got rained out, so they couldn't cut. It was too wet. Ended up cutting yesterday afternoon, so I got the truck. Second delivery of the day today. Got there about 11:30. We got there this morning and just continued to work on the machine. We planted some more plants, but we worked on the machine, finished grade. That was great, actually. We got finished grade done right before the truck pulled up with sod, so that was good. We were in good shape there. He pulled up, he dropped a pallet for us on the driveway, and we started throwing. And so he unloaded and placed them for us, thankfully. And this sod is, soaked, guys, soaked. It is very, very heavy. They cut it extremely thick. It's really good sod. I'm not mad about that at all, but it is heavy. So I have 1,000, the IR 1000. It's the equivalent to the Dingo 1000. And I think the operating capacity is like 3,000 pounds. The tip capacity is like 1,200. This thing will not even come close, like not even think about picking up a full pile of sod with it as wet as it is right now. I've taken it down to about a little less than half of a pallet just to even move it. And I can't raise it up very high at all, or it will tip over. So he placed some force around the yard, thankfully, and we busted it the afternoon. We planted a few more plants, but we threw, I think, 4.5 pallets of sod this afternoon. And so we've got about 4 left. We got a lot to do. But back to customer expectations. So that's what we did. So that was kind of the progression of this job up to this point. Well, we get out there, or I get home yesterday afternoon. I purchased all the plants yesterday, dropped them off at the site. I planned it, like I said, I planted 10 or 12 in the morning. The rest were sitting out, waiting to go in the ground. Well, the wife gets home from work and finds out and sees the plants, and she's not happy with the plants. That they've got some. So the plants got grasshoppers in them. The leaves have some holes in them, and they've already been sprayed. They're in good shape. Those old leaves will drop. The plant is not in any danger at all. The plant is healthy. Those leaves are going to drop off, new ones will come out. But she was not happy at all. So she called me, said she wanted new plants. Those were not in good shape. So I talked to her, tried to educate her about that. And I think it was just a few other, so customer expectation. This is where I'm going with this. The plant thing, not a big deal. Like that, I understand that. We're working through that. That is what it is. No need to get into that. Customer expectation is, we were supposed to start this last week on Thursday. I called, I let her know beforehand. I asked her, are you good to wait? Don't want to do this with the sod. So everything was good. I was like, they seemed to be fine with it. They were cool, no rush. Well, get into this week, start on Monday. And I've been out there every day this week except Tuesday, which was the 4th of July. We took off for the holiday. And so I've been out there every other day since then and been working all day long. Well, in their mind, the job should have been done faster, and we should not still be there. Well, we can't control the sod, and we can't control the weather. It's rained the sod out, so that extended a day. So I didn't want to finish grade totally before I knew the sod was coming, because we get afternoon showers every single day. We got afternoon storm tonight. I'm going to have to regrade everything tomorrow. I already know it. It's going to be a mud pit. Not going to be fun. But I didn't want to do finished grade, because if we had one storm come in, then the house's yard is pretty flat, but it's the bottom of a hill, so it gets a lot of water runoff, and my dirt would have been destroyed. And so I wasn't going to finish grade totally. We roughed it in, but I wasn't finishing it until I had sod to put down on it. So she got home, plants were there. I don't think she would maybe they just were expecting it to go faster than it was. But there was no sod down. The yard was a mess, just because dirt's everywhere. Like, sidewalks are dirty, driveway's dirty, and we blew everything off. We tried to do the best we can, but I'm not gonna sit here and blow every single inch of the driveway and sidewalk when I'm gonna be driving on it all day again tomorrow. So that's where we're at. She was not happy at all. She called me. We had a conversation. Got there this morning, and the husband was like, she's not happy. She just wants this thing to go good. It's a large investment. I totally understand. Like, if these customers ever listen to this job, I would totally play this back for them. I'm not bad mouthing them at all. I understand what they're coming from. This is a massive investment for them into their property. So they want it to be perfect, and they want it to go right. And so the way that I need to pick it up is I need to be better about creating a better expectation. I need to educate along the way, and I need to tell them, this is what's happening. This is why these plants are here. This is why they're not on the ground. I should have said, this is why there's holes in the plants. These things, so when she gets there and she doesn't just walk home and see holes in her plants, she doesn't freak out. When there's a mess of a yard, they don't just freak out. They don't think I'm just wasting time and goofing off. And so that is kind of where we were at. They just weren't happy. we had a conversation this morning. I'm not going to leave this job until y'all are happy. Like, it's going to be 100% satisfaction. We're going to get you taken care of. And so everything's good, I think, right now. But we're going to do the best we can, absolute best we can, to give them the best finished product, because, like I said, it's their largest investment in their home. Probably, maybe, possibly ever. I don't know. But biggest, just like a single one-time investment. And so we're going to make sure that they get the product they deserve. But the expectations are and should be great, but it comes back to me. It comes back to, like, they should have good expectations, but they can only have good expectations if I give them to them. If I show them and tell them and educate them along the way of how things are going to be done, a timeline in which things are going to be done, progression updates as things are done. And so my advice to you is, as you get into a job it's going to take you more than a day, make sure you're having great customer communication with your client. Try to, before you leave every day, ring the doorbell, call them if they're not home, tell them, update them on what the situation is, where you're at, what progression you've made for the day, why things are the way they are, and just try to, at the end of the day, educate them, create a good expectation for them to understand where you're at, because you have to look at it through the eyes of a homeowner. They don't know, like they don't do landscaping for their lives. They just see they have a destroyed yard. We're 6 days behind when we said it was going to be done, which is weather. Like, I can't control that. Like, I'm sorry that we're behind, but I can't control that. I think they know that. They don't want to take that. They don't mean to take that out on me. It's just a frustrating thing, and so I get that. We just take the brunt of that. It is what it is. We survive and we move on. But that's kind of where we're at. And so I just want to do a better job in the future of making sure that we're communicating clearly in the beginning and throughout the whole journey of why we're doing what we're doing, why the plants are going in when. And that was another thing. She didn't know why plants were going in before the sod, because, like, obviously the sod is, for most people, like, the most important thing. Like, there's way more sod than there are plants going in this place. But I failed to tell her beforehand, so I told her when she said this, but I failed to educate her on the fact that we want the plants to go in before the sod, because we don't want to be trampling all over the sod trying to get our plants in the ground. And so sod is one of the last things you want to do. You don't want to be having to walk all over it more than you have to. You don't want to stress it out, especially with it as hot as it is. And so she understood that once I told her, though. So to her, remember, you got to look at it from the homeowner point of view. My yard is destroyed. I've got 20 plants sitting out. I've got 15 plants on the ground. The dirt's everywhere. There's no sod down. Like, what's going on here? And so I'm just going to be better about that in the future, of creating a better expectation, educating along the way, telling what is happening, and trying to stick to that the best we can. And if we have something come up where things have to change, then you tell them immediately, and you walk through that process with them of what the issues are, how can we fix them, what is the solution going to be moving forward, to give them the best finished product that they can get, and it's the product they deserve, because they're paying you, the contractor, a hefty sum of money, and so you need to give them what they deserve and what they're asking for. And so just make sure that you are taking into consideration these things when you get into these bigger projects, whether it be sod or installs or planting installs or retaining walls or paver patios or whatever it is. You're going to start making job sites a mess. When you start bringing equipment in and out, like, just try to educate. Remember that the customer doesn't do this for a living. They can't see what you see. They can't see the finished product. They can't envision that 90% of the time. And so just try to keep it the best you can, the best experience for them, because the way the customer experience goes through this process will be how they talk about you moving forward. And so that's why I'm taking this one on the chin, and I'm like, dude, we're going to do everything we can to make you happy, because if they're already unhappy at this point in the process, we don't want them to stay this unhappy. We have to flip them, and we want to make sure that we're over the top, like, have fantastic customer service. We switch out these plants, we get them in the ground, we get the sod done, we get everything in order, and So when we button this project up and wrap it up and we collect our money and they have their new yard, their new home like makeover, that they're raving customers of us. And they want, like, I want them to be fans of Growing Green Landscapes. I want them to tell their friends about what we did. And I want them to show their house off. I want them to have people over and say, look at this awesome yard that got created for us. And Growing Green did it. And there were some things along the way that we didn't totally understand or agree with, but they educated us and they helped us along the way. And so now we have a great yard, we have a great place to sit outside and enjoy. And thanks to them, we were able to do that. That's how we need to end up with them. That's how I want to walk away from that job, is they are totally satisfied, totally happy, and we are as well, because we gave them a great finished product. So just please keep these things in mind. There's a lot more we can get into, but those are the biggest things that I had to talk about. I was like, I just want to walk through a real life, real-time update of, while these things are fresh on my mind, ways that you can create a better job site, a better process for you. And so keep your job sites clean as possible. Don't leave them a mess. That's something that I'm trying to... Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I've tried to keep better at the yawning. So if you listened to the show a year and a half ago, you know I was yawning pretty bad at shows, but I try to get better at that. I don't want to put the audience to sleep. Try to get better at that tonight, but like I said, tired. This thing is draining me. My mental mindset has changed. My physical body has changed. My physique, like, I feel good. But if this has had one downfall, I'm not getting the amount of sleep that I need to be getting. I'm only getting 3 to 4 hours a night, 5 maybe sometimes, and it's taking a toll. I can totally feel it. Like I'm just exhausted, and so it is what it is. Though we're grinding, we're hustling. 8 more days of this, and then actually 7 days of this, because 7 days we'll be in Montana with all of you at Together in the Trade. So excited for that opportunity to get to see y'all there and hang out and have a good time. But I think that is going to wrap this show up. Just want to come to you, Friday show, nothing too deep, nothing too crazy. Just some ways to help you create a better client expectation and make sure that they're raving fans when you complete the project. So if we can ever help you, reach out to us, Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram, shoot us a DM, shoot us an email, book a coaching call if you want to. Those are available at our link in the show notes today. And it's just one of those things, like, it's $95. It's an hour of my time. Only reason I charge for them is just because I have to. Like, my time is, I can't sit on the phone with an hour for every single person every day for free. So I just try to recoup a little bit of that for my time. But I try to give as much value as possible, some real life things we learned along the way, give you some different perspectives. We haven't made it in life at all, but we do things a little differently than other people. And I'll tell you, it's a big benefit to be able to just bounce ideas off of another person, somebody who's running another business in maybe another climate, another area of the country, to figure these things out. So if we can ever help you, book a call there, shoot me a DM. I'll answer any questions that I can that way. But if we get into some longer form stuff, then we'll need to hop on a call and talk about those things. Use code GG50 for Equip registration, 50% off of that, and I think it's like $12.50. Do that now. Don't wait around on that, and get your hotel room. Those things are filling up very, very fast, and they get to be very, very expensive. So GG50 at checkout. The link is in the show notes. If you don't want to put the code in, just hit the link, take you straight to the checkout. You'll be done in 3.5 minutes, and you'll be registered for the largest trade show in our industry. And so I'll be excited to see everyone there in October. But thank you so much for tuning in, for following along with us over the past couple of years. If you have supported us along the way, thank you, thank you, thank you. Leave us a big 5-star rating review. If you've done that, thank you. If you haven't, just drop a well-rated review of 5 stars there, and we will be off to the races, growing the show one relationship at a time, because that's what we're here to do, and just grow this community each and every day. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this helped you, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.